How's it going, YouTube? Dallasboi here, back with another Pokemon Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle. In this battle, I'm going up against StratoArctica9000, who I ran into on the Smog and Wi-Fi Battle Finder, who was asking for a stuff tier match, and that's pretty much why you see all this stuff from random tiers in pretty much every last slot. And yeah, I accepted the match because I wanted to test a few things out. And what better way to do it than stuff tier? So, looking at teams, I see that he's got a Black Kyurem, and I was pretty much saying that I was going to cry with that thing. And pretty much the best things I have to take a hit from that thing are kind of my Nyandorus and my Fortress, who is pretty heavily invested in defenses. So, if I'm to win this game, I'm pretty much going to have to keep those two alive just to try to check that Black Kyurem. And yeah, I should be good from there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and let's get this show on the road! So my opponent's going to be leading off with his Tentacle, which is nicknamed Metroid. And I'm going to be leading off with Kesha Davis the Gothitelle. And first turn, Tentacle is going to be going for knocking off my leftovers. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be utilizing this set to its full potential, because this is a tormenting Gothitelle set, and it kind of works on Toxic and leftovers to work, which is why I trapped this Tentacle in the first turn to prevent Toxic spikes being absorbed and whatnot. That was pretty much my reasoning. But after I whittled down this Tentacle far enough, I just set up a sub to prepare for the next thing that comes in, as I can take it out from the second net range thanks to the special defense drop I ascertained from going after the second Psychic, and I will be taking that Tentacle down. But now out comes Maractus, who goes for the Sucker Punch to break my sub, and that kind of caught me a little bit off guard, because I wasn't kind of aware that Maractus could learn Sucker Punch, but apparently this one gets at level 42. And now I set up a sub predicting him the Sucker Punch again, but he actually predicts the sub and gets up a Giga Drain, and will be Sucker Punching my Gothitelle down to 0. Which kind of sucks, because I didn't really utilize Kesha Davis to what I hoped to. But it still took out the Tentacle, and now I can send in Drapion to go for the Crunch. And Cactar lives with just a smidgen of health, and even after the Life Orb damage. Yeah, Drain Punch actually saved it for another turn. And I knew that he was going to Sucker Punch there, so I'm just going to be setting up some Toxic Spikes, because I kind of want to whittle his team down, and it's actually going to be coming into a little bit of handy soon, as you'll see a little bit later. Cactar's just going to be going for Drain Punch a little more, and he knows that it's pretty much a lost cause here, so he's just going to Sucker Punch, and let the thing die to his own Life Orb recoil, and my Crunch kind of fails there. And now I believe he's going to be sending out his Registeel at this point, and I know that these things tend to be pretty defensive, so I go for the Taunt, and it turns out that he is a Cursing set. And now I'm kind of inclined that he's going to be switching into his Black Kyurem to kind of deal with me. So I actually go into my Fortress to combat the beast, which is actually nicknamed Stole a Bike. And I know that these things tend to be choiced in some way, whether it be Choice Band or Choice Scarf. And Choice Specs, we all know, is pretty much going to be pretty stupid. So I'm just going to be going for the Volt Switch after he strikes me with the Fusion Bolt. And from that damage, I kind of figured out that he'd be Scarfed. And I also pretty much ascertained the information I needed to keep my Fortress alive to combat Black Kyurem, because monstrous attack power and whatnot. And so I go out into my Nyandorus to try to threaten it out, since Fusion Bolt can't hit me, and he's choice and whatnot. So I actually go for a sub on the Rotom free switch, and I actually miss a Stone Edge, and that kind of comes into a little bit of play, as you will see later. And he actually shows me that he is actually a Life Orb variant, and I kind of went for Stone Edge twice, and even once behind the sub, thinking that he was going to be faster than me and whatnot. But now he tries going for a substitute of his own, and kind of fails. And judging by the health he's at, this kind of gives me the perfect opportunity to go into Fillet of Fish. But I actually forgot that, yeah, the life orb does taking himself out, and, I go for the flail after he splits, thinking that it would do more damage since my health is lower, and, Magikarp, you're just not cutting it out for me. And, yeah, after a couple of flails, you don't even break the sub, and you just dot it with Thunderbolt. So, sadly guys, once again, Magikarp does nothing. Now I'm just going to be going out into my Drapion, knowing that I don't really want to do much with a Rotom behind a substitute. So I'm just going to be facing it out with a Whirlwind after he smacks me with a Blizzard, and actually Whirlwind him out into Registeel. And I'm just going to be leaving my Gripper in here to die, so I'm just going to be going for the time, preventing him from setting up any more curses and whatnot. And my Gripper just dies to an Iron Head. But now I'm going to be setting out my Choice Spec Kingdra, and here he makes a pretty good move, going out into his Rotom to get rid of the taunt, and leaving it as Death Spotter, and when I would lock myself into, which happens to be Surf. And now Registeel is going to be coming back out again, and I sped this bit up because I'm just spamming Surf, and he's just going to be cursing up a little bit. And here he actually shows me Rest, and this pretty much confirms to me that he is a Rest, Sleep Talk, Curse, and Iron Head set with Life Orb, oddly. But this Surf actually lands with a crit. Didn't matter because I could have I could have taken it out on the next turn. But now comes Gengar, fires off the Shadow Ball, gets a special defense drop. Didn't matter because I'm at a pretty good range of help for Black Hyrum to revenge me after I take the Gengar out with the Surf. Now, said Black Hyrum comes back in, and it is his last Pokemon, and I'm just scouting out what he's going to lock himself into. Move of choice turns out to be Outrage, and I'm going to be sending in my Nyandorus to try to smack this thing with Stone Edge, and a -1 Outrage from Scarf Black Hyrum still doesn't do a pleasable amount. And this is kind of a weird EV spread anyway, because sub-bulk up Nyandorus and whatnot. But unfortunately, the Stone Edge isn't able to take out the Black Hyrum, but the toxic damage will take him out, and that will be the game. So that was a pretty fun stuff tier match, StratoArctica9000. So rate, comment, sub, and I will see you guys next time.